We are
Didi
and Arma, and in our daily lives we support people on the path of self-liberation. We teach time-tested energy skills like Qigong, Tai Chi, internal alchemy, traditional nutrition and meditation.
We help people release stagnation, build energy, and become aligned with themselves and their purpose in life.
In this podcast, we share the methods, skills, and solutions that helped us, our students, and now hopefully you move forward.
Let's explore transformation together.
Today we're looking at food as medicine again, and we have thrown a lot of stuff on the table. Also, for people just listening, there's a lot of food on the table, but also categorized yet again in 5 groups.
Yeah.
Last week we were talking about categorizing in the temperature of food, the temperature effect in the system. Today we're looking at the 5 elements. So there's yet 5 categories we're going through today. So Didi, wow, the elements.
Yeah.
That's your piece of cake, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is something I can talk about all day.
Awesome.
So this is actually an extra layer. So you can look at foods, the temperature of food, which already gives you a lot of information to balance yourself out. And then this is an extra layer. You look at the elements.
The 5 elements. Beautiful. I like that. You know, we have methods of balancing out our system, and that goes very deep.
Yeah.
And I think we first maybe have to mention that this is not like hard science or something.
No.
This is all based on experience, right?
Exactly. So people, thousands of years, people have experienced eating these foods and then see what it did in their bodies and then came up with a system.
Yeah, a system of balancing out, which makes total sense with what we're doing in Qi skills, right?
Yeah.
Qigong, it's all about experiencing energy, vital energy. And of course, there's this hunt for vital energy as well, right?
Yeah.
There's this quest for energy, which takes us to the 5 elements as well, because it's such a beautiful system to work with.
Exactly. And it all starts to first look at yourself, because how do you start with this? Then you know, okay, these foods belong to a certain category, but then what can you do with it?
What can you do with it? Yeah.
So it all starts with you. Scan yourself and see, okay, where doesn't it feel so good?
Yeah.
So you work with your own system.
Yep.
And then you're gonna look at the food. And so you have a way of correcting things.
Adjusting, fine-tuning, etc., etc.
And we will walk through all the elements and the categories, and then I will mention some things like it works for this or that.
Okay. So roughly, if we look at this section here, which is in the middle, that's sort of that's earth element, right? So that's in the middle. That's pretty neutral. That's the center of everything, you could say.
Yeah, it's earth element stands for digestion. So most of the foods are that are in the earth element. The most ingredients belong to earth element, but it's also the nurturing energy.
Yeah. Even that words makes me relax and calm, right? So that's why it's in the middle, right? There's not really an extreme here per se. It's all about well, you could say this energy goes everywhere, right? Yeah. It wants to get energy everywhere.
It's the sweet taste belongs to the earth element, and it's the dividing energy. It wants to go everywhere.
Yeah, so we're also talking about the stomach and the spleen and how they work together, right? So these are the intestines that belong to this element.
Yeah. And also, so again, in this category, so you have earth element, which is this nurturing taste, sweet taste. But in this category, you have like neutral, and cooling, cold, and on the other side, warming and hot.
So that's interesting. So this is how it comes together, right? What we did last week and today is like, so we have the element, but there's also within the element we can adjust with temperature.
And that's how you work. So if you look at yourself, if you have any problems with your digestion, this is the element to look at.
Cool.
And if you don't know where to start, this element is always great because it's kind of the element that's balancing.
So this would, if you help people, it is just, they come to you, they're like, I want to work on my digestion, my food, my diet. This is where you start, right? It's like, okay, first fine tune this, make sure that this is working, and that's a great place to start from.
Exactly.
Build a foundation.
And then you can fine tune with the other elements.
So get it nourished first. Yeah. That's the message, right?
Nourish yourself. Actually, just a small sidestep. The earth element, stands for being a good mother to yourself. This nurturing element.
So let's walk through a couple of the foods that are here in this earth element. So
actually, if you look here, you see the carrot, you see butter, egg. I also put in the apple because this is a very sweet apple. If it was sour, it would be in another element. Cinnamon.
Cane sugar.
Cane sugar. Interesting is that cinnamon is very hot. Sugar is very cool.
So now you see the temperatures, right? So where you can adjust. So cool, very cool.
Olive oil. I have polenta. And I have all kinds of nuts.
It's nuts.
So, grains. You see quite a lot of grains in this element. A lot of oils are in this element. It's all very nurturing. And like sweet potato, cabbage, that would be all that all belongs to earth element.
Belong in this category. So
sweet, nurturing, good food. And it's so if you start to build your meal, this element will definitely be in there. It should be in there because this will give you this feeling that that you had enough. That it's
So this is where would you also start with this? It's like you build your meal. You start with the earth element.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you start out, this is if you build a recipe, this is the first thing that will go in.
That I meant that exactly that. It's like okay, you think of your meal and you're like okay, let's take care of the earth element. Make sure that's in there, etc. etc.
All about digestion and making sure that your digestion is going better and better. This will nourish your digestion. Yeah.
Well, we've been doing this for years, right? So we know the effect of this. Yeah. Awesome. So can we go to the categories outside? Maybe, because this is in the middle, then we here on our left side, there's more of you could say the more yin elements, right? Yeah. And on the other side, we have the more yang elements. So let's start with the yin elements.
Yeah. So if you go a little bit to the left, and
our left, your right, if you're watching.
Like, how should I call it? So this is metal element.
Metal elements
stands next to the earth element, and this is the pungent taste. It's a little bit sharp taste. So lots of herbs in there. And red pepper is in there. This opening,
this moving
energy. Because metal by itself is more contracting energy. So you to balance that out, the food is more going outwards,
explosive.
It goes up and out. So lots of herbs. You see the ground pepper, but also if you go more into the neutral.
Neutral
temperature.
Temperature of this element. Yeah.
You see, there is rice, and there's like the onion, which is more
a little bit more on the safe side, right? Whereas, here are the chili peppers, right? So wow, that's more on the warm side. Yeah.
You see, in this element, there's a lot that's very warming and very moving energy,
dynamic. Yeah. Beautiful.
So if in talking about disbalances, this would be the lungs. So working if you have a cold or something like that, you see taking some of the herbs, ginger, for example, that moves it out, especially
So that helps like the cold out of your system by just giving a sort of an explosion in your body. And so it's like, okay, move out. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Yeah, so that's balancing the metal element.
And then on the
far side here, we're getting to the water element.
Exactly.
And water,
Water is, if you look at the food, everything that tastes of the sea is there. So it's the salt taste.
Yeah.
Also, you see that a lot of the black color is there.
Yeah, and dark.
Yeah. So what is there? I have salt. I have seaweed.
Yeah.
And that especially tastes like the sea. All the fish. There is soy sauce,
and we have some
and black beans. Because
yeah.
what you also see in this element is everything that has the possibility to sprout new life. So beans, seeds, it all has a little bit of water element in it.
Yep. So water is life, right? I mean, we come from the water as well. So
So everything that has that
salty
or the opportunity to have new life in it, it will give you that new energy as well when you eat it.
Perfect.
Sprouts, perfect.
Sprouts, yeah.
So this is more kidney, bladder, everything. If you have any problems in that area, or emotionally with self-worth, that is really water element.
Yeah.
And this is a way to make it stronger, you can work with
you can balance it out, you can make sure that the water element becomes a bit stronger. I mean, it's also so great that, these 5 elements go so deep and far, and we'll be making more podcasts about this for sure, because you cannot cover everything in one.
No, this is scraping the surface, but I just want you to understand that that you can categorize these foods in temperature and in the elements, and that you can work with them to balance yourself out.
And feel better, because that's what it's all about, right? Because it's also about balancing emotions out and things like that. We want you to feel good, right? So, and food can help you to feel good. Yeah.
So we move to the other side of the table.
To the more young side.
Fire element. Mm-hmm. And here is the ones that people love a lot is coffee, chocolate. Here's the green tea, and we have curcuma here, and it all has a bitter taste. There's not so much on the table here. We see that we don't really have that many vegetables anymore with the bitter taste.
Yeah.
Most of the farmers or industry has taken the bitterness out, because we don't really like it. Especially children don't like this taste. A lot of medicines have the bitter taste. But what it also does, which is interesting, is that it will make you stop eating when you're full.
Okay. So not really popular in restaurants and right.
So you see that taking the bitterness out, then it will make you eat more. But
that's crazy, right?
What does the bitter taste is the energy is going downwards. So the fire element is going upwards.
It's expansion upwards, right? So this can help balance that out, right? So if there's like a deficiency in the fire element, you're like all the time.
This will, it has the energy goes down. Especially also when you had a big meal. Mm-hmm. Lots of people like to take a strong coffee after a big meal, so the energy goes downwards instead of up. Also, like a little liqueur, bitter. I'm not sure how you call that. It's or a little bit of chocolate, very strong chocolate. Yeah. Bitter chocolate. So
of course you see them in desserts and things like in restaurants, and makes sense. Yeah. So.
And the fire element related to the heart, of course.
Yeah.
And then the latest, or the one all to
on
the
the
right.
far left of the viewers are far right. Yeah. So that's the wood element.
Wood element, and this is the sour taste. And you see lemon. You see here is
what's that name of that stuff in English? That's wow. Well, we'll get to that. That's not lemon.
Sometimes it's like, okay, check.
Yeah.
And I have some champagne.
Champagne there. Yeah.
Vinegar.
Of course, right? Yeah.
Sometimes it's
Excuse
very
us, we're
Dutch.
Yeah. Because the Dutch word for that is azijn.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit far from that, right? So,
vinegar.
yeah.
So, everything with the sour taste is on this side. And I was looking at the apple. If you have an apple that's very sour, you could put it there
in
as
that
well.
Category. Yeah.
Or sometimes tomatoes are put there. And
wood element,
wood element is really this
mostly upwards,
yeah.
Yeah.
Spring belongs to wood element, and this is this explosive energy. It's this rising energy.
Yeah, think of like
movement.
Yeah, think of this plant that comes through the ground and moves upwards, so and it just grows.
Yeah. It's this boundaryless energy, and what you see think of a lemon. If you take a taste of a lemon, and it's really this contracting energy, so it's kind
inwards,
of giving you some boundaries of this energy that goes everywhere.
Just like vinegar, right? And that's the same.
Only that vinegar is warming. So
there's a difference there.
There's a difference, and this is cooling. And so if you have a lot of people in our society have a lot of wood element that's
liver chi rising, we would say, right? Irritability and frustration, short temper. So if you don't know what that is, just when you're in front of the traffic lights, right? You are in front and it's red, right? And then it goes green. Just wait 5 to 10 seconds. And then behind you, you will know what that is. Liver chi rising, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, that's exactly what. So especially where we're living, right, in this side of Holland, where there's a lot of traffic, a lot of. That's the main population of Holland lives here.
People are all in a rush, and and then you see this kind of explosive energy. Well, you want to balance that out in yourself.
So you would say just get 10 bottles of champagne and then no, don't do that. Right?
No, I put it there because I wanted to show you like the sugar and the champagne and the coffee. Maybe not so good for you, but it's all in there. It's all categorized. So you know where it is and you know, okay, on what element does it have effect? So that's why I wanted to put it all there.
Also in this fire element, I think, you have these two extremes next to each other. If we're looking at, we have the fire element, we understand that now. But there's this extreme, heat and more like very cool, right?
Yeah.
So we have all these tools to adjust, fine tune.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a process of, you need to develop it. It takes a time to get into your system, in your life.
And, so we all take it on the table and we go through the elements and get a clear understanding of it. But for cooks, this is like, okay, you want to prepare a meal with every taste in it because that will give a great balance in your meal.
Yeah. So traditionally,
it's already there.
That's so great, right? You go to like French cuisine or something, and you also see the colors there, right?
Yeah.
We have the colors.
Indian curries, Thai food. It's all there. So it's not something new. It's just.
It's ancient.
It's ancient. People do it all the time. It's just to make it more conscious.
Yep.
So next time when you're preparing a meal, you're like, oh, do I have all the taste in it? Because if you do have all the taste in your meal, you're gonna feed your entire system And then if you go a little bit further, you say, okay, but maybe I don't want the extremes. So I don't want the very hot or cold stuff in my meal. I want to make it more from the ingredients that are neutral, a little bit warming, a little bit cooling. So in that way, you can really balance it out.
Absolutely. And then sometimes you can test a little bit on the extremes. And of course it makes sense in which season you are. It helps. It has helped us so much, right? And it's so great that we can sort of, I don't know how to say that per se, but it's, because it's so old, but it's also sort of lost, right? I mean, we've been taking it for granted, maybe a little bit. I mean, the traditional foods we have in our kitchen, they had this, right? They had this this balancing out and everything. It might not be that your grandma was talking about that per se, right? I mean, she just learned that, I guess, and it was just the recipes that were handed over from generation to generation, and it was put in, and it does make sense. If you go to a chef de cuisine, he will say, okay, how to prepare a great meal. You want to have every taste in there. So and actually he's working on balancing out the system as well. Well, the great thing here is if we go deeper into the 5 elements, which that's what we're gonna do, is that we can dive into and more in how and why and what for and knowing yourself. But this is so awesome, Didi. We have 2 ways to balance out. We have the 5 elements, we have the temperature of food, and then, knowing yourself, knowing your disbalances, and you can work with it. Oh man, it's just, it's beautiful. And build up vital energy. Yeah. Hey, that's what it's all about, That's where it all starts. And from there, feel good, right? Yeah. We want to feel good. And let's do something with something that's really working for that. And instead of always so sort of reinventing, and then, this has been handed down from our ancestors, right? Yeah. Let's respect it, I guess. That's sort of what we're doing now. Absolutely. So, great. Hope this was helpful. For sure. If you have any questions or any comments, then please leave it in the comments or write us an email to info@cheeskills.com. We love to hear from you. And you've been sending comments and stuff like that. So I mean, it's beautiful. Amazing. So thank you. Like and subscribe, and we'll be back. See you. Bye. Bye.